All right, the moment we all been waiting for. Now, I know it's been 2 months since this interview been out, but however, I think we need to do this because we need to figure out why Saraya didn't get booked as much when she was in AEW. Now, we can get into all that when we go through the video, but however, I just have so many questions. But the main question I want to know is why things didn't work out at AEW. So we're going to get to the beginning of why she signed with AEW, and we're going to get to the end of why she stopped, with their associated with AEW. No bad blood, just trying to figure out, what it is. So, again, she has no beef with AEW. Her and Tony are in good terms, but we'll let her speak on that. We're just going to listen as we go. So let's go ahead and get started.
When did you start to be open to the idea of wrestling again?
I was never open to the idea of wrestling again because I just assumed I wasn't going to do it. So when when me and WWE parted ways, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life now? I can't wrestle. Like, what the hell am I going to do? And I was a little stressed out. But then within like a couple of weeks, WWE was calling me again to come back. Hunter was the one that called me. And then AEW called me at the same time. So I was just like, well, what the fuck do I do? Who do I go with? And then WWE was like, if you want to wrestle again, at some point we can check your neck and we'll keep that coin in your back pocket. And I was like, okay. And then I was just going to do a GM role again there. So I was like, okay, that sounds great. But then AEW called me and they were just like, we'll sign your brother. And I was like, okay.
So like a twofer. So we get Saraya and we get your brother.
Right. And the one thing for me is that I've had an incredible career, but my brother's never had the opportunity to do it. And that's been his dream since he could, tie his boots, And so I just knew at that point, I was like, if I take this opportunity, I don't know if WWE will ever sign my brother, but I know AEW has given me the opportunity to bring my brother in and he can finally get his moment, And that's one of the big catalysts of why I went to AEW is because obviously you get freedom to do whatever you want. But they were going to bring my brother in finally. I was out here by myself for 13 and a half years without my brother. And he's like, we grew up like twins because we're so close in age, 14 months. And so I was so used to him being around. And then I got the opportunity and he didn't. And it always fucked with me. I felt so bad for him that he never got the opportunity. So having this, I was like, okay, I'm going to AEW. That's it. My brother's coming with me. He's going to move over, and I'll have my brother back. And so, yeah, that was the biggest thing why I went to AEW. And then, Tony was like, this, see where your neck is at and stuff. And I've been dying to see where my neck is at. It's been over 5 years at this point. So I was like, hell yeah, dude, like, let's do it. But I said, I don't want a wrestling doctor. I want someone, not saying wrestling doctors are biased, but you want someone that is a little bit more timid when it comes to like, physical activity,
you're going to be falling down for a living.
Right. So I went to one here in California and he does massive celebrities. I mean, like huge singers, like, you go into his office and they're just A-list everywhere. I didn't realize how many people had fucking neck surgeries around here. So I was blown away. So I was like, okay, if he says yes, I can go back. That means I can go back because he's not going to put his career on the line here for me, right? Because again, he has a roster of just amazing, people. And so we did, this was Halloween in 2022, 2021? I can't remember when I went there to AEW. Was it 2022? I'm terrible with
you went
dates.
to AEW in 2022.
Okay, yeah, that was it. Okay, so Halloween 2022, I went and I got an X-ray, a CT, and an MRI, and they all came back amazing. He was like, you have all the fluid around your spine. Your fusions look amazing. And dude, I was over the moon. So I was like, well, what does this mean? He's like, well, that means you can wrestle again. And I was like, and I just started crying again. And I called my mom and dad. And I'm like, guess what? And they just started crying too. They were all celebrating. Because again, wrestling's my family's life. They were all celebrating. I text Mercedes and told her she doesn't have to stress anymore and that I'm wrestling again. And she was over the moon. And I was like, fuck.
Did she feel responsible?
I feel like she does, yeah. And like she went for a really bad depression too, because the fans, they can get really hardcore, And I always have said, it's not her fault. It's wrestling, we're not going out there and dancing. Like it's a physical like sport, And so accidents happen all the time. It's like doing live stunt and expecting not to, trip and fall sometimes, you know. And so I never blamed her for it. I was always very outspoken about how, it was never her fault. But she got attacked a lot. And, you know, it doesn't feel good to be the one responsible for, you know, an accident like that. So she went through a rough time, depression and stuff like that, like really, really rough time. So she was one of the first person I called because I was like, you don't have to feel bad anymore. Like, I'm back, you know. And yeah, she was over the moon for me. But yeah, and then at that point I was like, okay, so I'm going to fucking wrestle now? Like, this is crazy, you know, like this is wild. And I wish I trained more because Tony was like, all right, you're going to be wrestling in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, I've had 5 years out. Like, how do I get back in the ring again? And I didn't have much time to train or anything because I was traveling for AEW. And then, you know, I was working when I was at home. And I was like, when can I physically go in a ring? And my brother Zach flew over and he took me to a ring a couple of times. And we just like, you know, tried to get some of the ring rust off. But it was really hard. And I wish the only thing I regret about my AEW run is that I wish I tried harder when it comes to the wrestling side of things. I think I went too easy on myself because I was a little bit worried that something would happen like WWE where I would fuck up and my neck would get hurt again. And I was too overly cautious.
So it was in your head that, you know, because you've been injured before, you might get injured again.
Yeah. It was like a mental thing. I knew my body was fine, but I was just way too cautious. And so like if I was to come back to wrestling again, which everybody bugs me about, I love it. I go to signings and everyone's like, when are you coming back? And I'm like, okay, I want to take this year to do stuff outside of wrestling, but I also want to train. So when I come back, I'm the Paige I used to be and not what I became, you know? So I just want to come back and like all guns blazing, you know? I can wrestle again, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I figure it had something to do with her neck, and that's the reason why she hasn't wrestled as much. So every time people in the comments say, oh, she don't wrestle as much, well, that could be the reason right there, you know, that she was very cautious about her neck, and she couldn't wrestle like that because she was afraid she was going to hurt it. I mean, AEW is all elite, so you got to go all out. Like, and when you're in that ring, you got to go all in. And a couple of matches I have seen from Saraya, it didn't look like she was wrestling like that, but she was wrestling. I ain't gonna sit here and say she wasn't wrestling. She was. It's just, I feel like she was depending on Holly Cameron a lot, including Tony Storm and you know, Ruby Soho, you know what I mean? So I think that's the reason why. And, you know, and again, she was wrestling. Just don't get me wrong. She was. Just wasn't wrestling like the people that she was collabing with. You know what I mean? So, but hey, you know, I will say this. Regardless of how you feel about Saraya at AEW, I did enjoy her time while she was there, you know, and I loved her promos. You know what I mean? I love her, you know, storytelling, you know, and even though, and to this day, my favorite match from her was with Harley Cameron and Anna Jay going against Mina and Maya May and Tony Storm. One of the historical matches to this day. You know, one of the greatest tag team matches in AEW history, in my opinion. So, again, that match even made Anna Jay stock go up, you know, thanks to that one clip. You know, I ain't gonna show it on here, but you know what I'm talking about. She definitely got some followers that day. But you know, hey, you know, it was a good time at that time. So that was back when Anna Jay was heel, including Harry Cameron. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good time, man, good time. But I figured the neck had something to do with, you know, with the match record she had in 2 years. But again, y'all can comment down below and beg to differ. But again, I'm not gonna sit here and think that, oh, she don't wrestle because she's mediocre. That's not true. I think it might have something to do with the neck. But some people are gonna comment down below and say that's your opinion, and I'm like, sir, it's not my opinion, because she just said in the interview that she was very cautious about her neck, and that was the reason why she wasn't wrestling as much, because she was self-cautious. So again, your opinion, sir, in my opinion, represent based off of what she said. So again, We could go ahead and say that's my opinion, that's your opinion, but if she said that she was cautious with her neck and that's the reason why she wasn't wrestling, that isn't really my opinion. So I'm just stating what she said, sir. I'm only going by what she said. She said this out of her mouth, and she said it in the clip. So, again, you can go back and you can see for yourself that she said that. So, if that's the case, then damn. But, you know, she's going to continue on talking about her run in AEW, but I just wanted to stop right there and just clarify that maybe that's one of the reasons why. But, again, this is based off what she said. These are her words. I'm not trying to give y'all my opinion. I'm just telling y'all what she said. All right? So, let's continue.
What went into the decision to not stay with AEW?
You know, it got to a point, I loved my time there. I really did. But there was nothing really much for me to do. Like, when I was there, all I wanted to do was help elevate the division. So I'm like, I'll eat a pin here and there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do it, whatever someone needs. And there was just, I don't think there was much room for me there. Like, you know, you have big stars there. That I just decided that this is probably the perfect time for me to take a step back. Because the only thing left for me to do there would be to wrestle Mercedes, you know, but she already had like stuff lined up.
I think we're better off, to be honest. Don't want to risk nothing. So, yeah, I think we're better off. We don't need to see that. We're good. We're good.
You know, all the way up until, you know, All In that they're about to do. So I was like, what am I going to do? Stay at home? You know, like, it's nice to collect a paycheck sometimes, sure. But like, I'd rather be active and doing something and something I'm really enjoying. You know, that's why I wanted to do the podcast. My book came out, all that kind of fun stuff. So I can put all my energy into that rather than being like, well, when am I going to be on TV next? You know, like, I don't want to have to stress about that. So it was just easier. And Tony was great. He was agreeing too. He was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. You know, so it was like a very nice split, you know, and great business, which is wonderful. And, you know, like I said before, the door's always open for these places, which is really nice. Like, I leave on really good terms. So, but yeah, I feel like my time came to an end. I'm like, what else do I do?
I cannot believe she wrestled 19 matches, bro. 8 single matches, 3 tag team matches, 2 trio matches, 1 multiple person match that ended in a loss, as well 4 additional single matches. What the freak? Why is 2002 is 1 match? It don't make no sense to me, bro. 12 matches in 2024 and 3 matches in 2023. Something's not right, bro. The math ain't mathing, bro. I've seen her in television more than anything else. And this is her record? Wow. I'm hurt, bro. I'm hurt. But hey, at least she has an explanation. It's her neck. Got you. But I'm just shocked, bro. Like, 19 matches is just, I don't like it. I don't like it. I to this day, I don't understand it. Wow. I just can't believe it. 19 matches, bro. Can you imagine your favorite wrestler only wrestle in one company just to do 19 matches? It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, that shit hurt. Like, I can see why she wants to go to WWE, but it's like, it ain't gonna be no different. You know, you're gonna get booked like, you're probably gonna get the same booking as Nikki Bella. Like you going back means nothing. If you go back, you're probably just gonna go back just to, you know, wrestle Rhea Ripley or some shit. Maybe Steffi Valkyria or some shit. But everybody else is like, what's the point? Now, I do have an idea if she, you know, when you know, if she ever do decide to come back to WWE, but I'm going to let this video ride out, but I'll save it for the end. All right? Let's continue.
You're a free agent in September? Is that right? Or are you a free agent now?
I'm a free agent now.
I thought I saw something that like your contract's not up till September.
No, I'm a free agent now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could pop up anywhere.
I could pop up anywhere
At any point in time.
Yeah. No, my contract's done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the one thing that helped is because like they gave me the opportunity to walk away from this contract. I mean, not a lot of companies or businesses would do that, but Tony was really, really great about it. So I was like, you can keep paying me or I can just take a hike, like.
But is it like you can leave, but you can't go to WWE for a certain amount of time?
No, Tony was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a clean split. That was it. And
so you could pop up in WWE.
I could.
Tomorrow.
I could. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Everyone
Okay.
keeps saying that because I know Evolution's going to pop up soon.
Well.
Which, for everyone that's not familiar with Evolution, is an all-female pay-per-view that WWE puts on. I was on the first one, wasn't wrestling on it because of my neck. But there is a second one, finally. I only took him like, how long? Fuck.
Would Saraya be there or would Paige be there?
Paige, 100%.
Oh, so Paige would return to WWE.
Yeah, I miss Paige so much.
Yeah?
I tell people all the time.
What do you miss about Paige?
Okay, so again, when I went to AEW, I didn't want to be close to my character in WWE because of the comparisons, I was like, okay. And then I end up being like a chicken shit heel with AEW, which is all fun and good, but there's like a ceiling to that. Whereas Paige, I mean, she's generational. I love her. She's like badass, like tough as nails, like just screaming all the time. I loved being her. She was a fucking badass. And that felt like more just like an elevated version of myself rather than doing what I was doing in AEW. But again, that was my decision to be like that. But then I was like, damn, I wish I leaned more into like my original character, but it is what it is. You live, you learn.
You haven't had a match since last year.
Right.
So do you miss it?
Yeah, I do. I do. Wrestling, if you haven't wrestled in a while, it really hurts your body and you forget how much it fucking hurts because before I took the long break with my neck, I never had time off, right? And so I was wrestling nearly every other day since I was 13 years old. I was constantly in a ring, training, having wrestling matches, traveling, all that kind of stuff. So my body became one giant callus, right? I was just one giant scab, pretty much. And so once my body healed and I took a bump, I was like, oh, this fucking sucks. Like, this hurts. This hurts like a bitch, especially when you have no adrenaline, And so, yeah, having a match after you've had time off, like, you feel like you've been hit by a car. You're just like, oh my God. So I do miss wrestling. I miss the adrenaline rush. I miss entertaining. I miss getting in the ring and feeling like Paige mostly. I miss being wrestling as Paige. But yeah, it's just the feeling that you get afterwards once the adrenaline is worn off.
When was the last time you were in a ring? Was it that match?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been in a ring in a minute. Yeah, I've been booked and busy, brother. But fuck. Yeah, I should get back in the ring again. I really should, just to prepare myself.
Well, oh Lord. Now, guys, I'm trying my best not to be a party pooper, man. I'm trying my best not to be a downer, man, because I love Paige, man. But see, oh God, like I don't want to rain on her parade, bro, but maybe I should just start off by saying this, right? I just want to say, man, I don't even know what to call her. Well, I'll just call her by her name. Saraya, I just want to say, man, I appreciate your time being at AEW. You really have created some moments there. You really have elevated a lot of women's careers like Toni Storm and Holly Cameron. You really have done it. And I just want to say, man, I appreciate you. I respect you. I love you. I miss you. And I don't have a problem with you going back to the ring again and again and again. If you want to wrestle again and again and again, it's all gravy with mashed potatoes. Yum. But, no freaky shit, but, yeah, it's all gravy with no mashed potatoes. But, speaking of mashed potatoes, actually, you know what? Scratch that. We're not going to talk about mashed potatoes because I already got my leftovers at home and I am willing to eat it. But it's spaghetti, so don't get too excited. But let me just say this, right? Again, I appreciate Saraya, and I'm going to always, show love to Paige, the character, for what she has done for the women's division. for, influencing people like Rhea Rebbe, Gigi Dollins, Shotzi, Tatum Paxley, Zyra, you know what I mean? And we could have had a fraction of them if Triple H and TKO didn't release 2 of them. But at least we still got Tatum, Zyra, and Rhea. But however, I have to be honest with you guys. I really don't think Paige is paying attention to the signs. Like, I feel like she's only looking at the success of these women, but not the bookings, not the storylines. And Paige, I have to call you Paige because I don't know if you're coming back or not, but I feel like you're not paying attention to what's really going on in WWE. As much as the fans want you back, I think the fans don't understand is that the booking in WWE is not that great and it's not that bright. I mean, there's just a lot of things that's going on in WWE that I just don't want you to face. I mean, don't get me wrong, AJ Lee is in a good position right now because she just came back. But give it 2 months and she's just, all that star power that she has right now is going to decrease. And it's mainly because of how they're booking her. But, there is a plan for her. She's going to be beefing with Becky Lynch for a minute until she loses the belt. Becky losing the belt to AJ Lee. And then hopefully we can get AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. Or we might get it beforehand, but still, I really think that a plan for you will probably be teaming up with Rhea or going against Rhea. But then what's going to happen after that? What are you going to do then? Are you going to be, continuing to get booked in matches, or are you going to be at home, just living life while they're paying you and, they're going to be calling you when they want to call you? Like that's the thing I'm trying to figure out, right? She's talking about, sitting around not doing nothing, right? And her time is up. And she thinking that WWE's time is now. Well, here's the thing. She got her own podcast. Y'all go check out her podcast. It's called a Rule Breaker Podcast. It's really good. And we'll talk about that too. Here's the thing, right? If you want to come back, Paige, you have to renegotiate your contract. And you have to give out what do you want in your contract, right? Because I don't want you to sign the contract and then it's like, okay, what about these plans? What about the creativity? What about the storylines? Do you really want to come back and do something when you need to do something? Otherwise, you'll be doing absolutely nothing. 19 matches in AEW is nasty work, don't get me wrong. But imagine you coming back to WWE and you're only doing less than 19 matches because Hunter's not calling you for nothing. You're just coming back for storylines like segments and backstage, interviews. That's all you're doing. And it's just like, okay, when are you going to get booked in a PLE? When are you going to get booked on Raw? When are you going to get booked on SmackDown or NXT? It's just like, again, well, not NXT, but I'm just saying, like if your storyline is just going to be Rhea Rebbe, then it's like, that's it. You're just going to be booked with her and that's it. You're not going to do anything else. Like, you're not going to team up with any new talent. I mean, like I said, I have an idea. I think, yes, you can beef with Rhea Rebbe and then later on you could team with her and form a fraction. I have a perfect idea for you two. You guys can team up and build a fraction like the Bloodline and the Vision. Think about this. Paige, Rhea Rebbe, Zyra, and Kathy Kelly. Now, hear me out. Kathy Kelly and Rhea Rebbe have a little situationship, right? You know what I mean? So, again, when they're on camera, every time they come to work, there's always some type of some type of seduction with those two, right? They haven't made out, but they always flirting with each other. So think about this, right? Because Kathy Kelly was thinking about working as a manager, right? It's like, on some on some Paul Heyman position type ish, or on some Kaya James with Julia type ish. Well, I was just thinking, why won't we have Kathy Kelly manage Rhea Rebbe and we have Paige manage Zyra? Think about it. We get those two to team up, and we get 2 and 2 teaming up in a fraction, and we just form them as a group, right? They could be the new division, or they could be the new bloodline, right? You got Rhea Rebbe as Roman Reigns, right? And you got Zyra and Paige as, well, let me think. Zyra as Braun Breaker. So let's just compare them to the division, because the bloodline, I can't really compare them. I can't really think of it a position for the Usos. But we could use, maybe we can use this. Let's say we could remove Jimmy, right? We got Jay, Sami Zayn, Roman, and Paul Heyman. Think about it. We have Kathy Kelly as Paul Heyman position, right? We have her in Paul Heyman's position. And we have Zyra as Jey Uso. And we have Paige as Sami Zayn. And we have Rhea Rebbe as Roman Reigns. Or when you look at it as division, we have Rhea Rebbe as Seth Rollins. And we have Paige as Becky Lynch. And we have Kathy Kelly as Paul Heyman, and we have Zyra as Braun Breaker. Think about it. It'll work out. Now, with the Becky Lynch position, listen, I'm not saying they're going to be a couple, but I'm saying they could, like I said, Paige can manage Zyra, and Rhea can manage, Kathy Kelly can manage Rhea Rebbe. Think about it. It will be a great combination. I think that can work in our favor if that be the case. And in case and I'll put some pictures on in front of the video so that way you know what I'm talking about. But that's the only thing I could see, Paige being in storyline and actually working, not full time, but actually doing something. Like just forming a fraction. Now, I know she did it in AEW, and she tried to do it in WWE before she got hurt, with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. But I think this is a good idea, because I could see Paige, Rhea, Zyra teaming up as the emo clique, and they got Kathy Kelly as the manager. It could work. If they can execute this and actually use some creativity, it can work. But like I said, as long as you got Triple H and TKO, you're not going to get nowhere far. And that's why I'm afraid with Paige. Paige really thinks that shit's sweet in WWE. Only thing is sweet is that check. That's it. Everything else is like, you're just there just for money. You're not even there to wrestle. You're not even there to cut a promo. You're not even there to tell a story. You're just there. Like it's kind of like gym class, right? In order for you to get an A in that class, you just show up. You don't even participate in activities. You just show up. So basically, it doesn't matter. You can just sit there and just go on your phone all day. You don't even have to go out. You don't even have to do the activities that you want to do. You just show up. And honestly, I ain't rocking with that. But, anybody that's spelling gym will know that if you're failing gym, it's mainly because you didn't attend. So obviously, when you're in WWE, yeah, you can still get paid just by not being there. So it doesn't matter. I mean, like literally in gym class, if you want to get a grade, you're going to have to show up. So it matters, right? But if you show up to WWE and you don't show up, you can still get paid to a point. It doesn't matter. Right? So it doesn't matter. So literally you could not show up and still get paid, and just all you got to do is it will just be an on-call situation. But if you're in gym class and you don't get a grade because you didn't show up, of course it matters. So it basically is like that, right? Right? It don't matter if you don't show up in WWE, you can still get paid. But if you don't show up to gym class and you don't get a grade, of course it matters. So it's kind of like that, right? So I hope that when when Paige do go to WWE, if she ever come back to WWE, I hope she negotiate before she signed that contract, because it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about, can I get back in the ring and actually wrestle? Like I said, if you're coming back to WWE, your goal is to get back in the ring. Your goal is to not get paid. All right? Yes, money. You literally said that, yeah, could I just sit around and not and just get a check, or should I actually get in the ring and wrestle? Well, your best bet is to just, do indies. Because if your goal is to get back in the ring and wrestle, then going to WWE maybe not be the right option right now, knowing that Triple H is in charge and he's barely there to even check on the show. Recently, he hasn't even been there. So what's the point of you even... So who are you going to talk to, right? Who are you going to talk to? What's the point? So what's the point? I mean, if you're going to be there, who are you going to talk to? Who? Who are you going to talk to when Triple H is not even there for you to talk to? So it's just like, it's just a waste of time at this point. It's just a waste. Why even go back to WWE when you're only there for it just to get paid? Why do you think everybody else is thinking like, hey, if that's the case, then maybe I could sign up? You got athletes acting like they want to sign up. Not everybody can be like Logan Paul. Logan Paul takes his job serious. Everybody else can't take you ain't going to take this job serious. If that was the case, Travis Scott would have showed up, but never did. So with that being said, the job is not meant to be serious because they made it look like it's not supposed to be. So again, if you come back, just negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not even just the money. Like, that's the thing that these wrestlers need to think about. It's not about the money. Do you want to come back to wrestle, or do you want to come back just to get paid and get some fame out of it? I don't know what you want, but it seems to me like you want to go back and wrestle. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want to come back and wrestle, then why don't you just do indies? Because it's obvious that you wrestling matters to you than you getting paid. And if that's the case, you going to WWE is may not be the right call. I mean, if you listen to Tori Wilson, right? She literally said that up front that if she ever do go back, it would have to be her actually wrestling, her actually doing something. And she knows that WWE is lacking on that. So it's like, do you really want to come back? Or do you just want to come back just to get paid? Because again, I mean, look, as much as I would like to see Saraya wrestle, I don't think WWE is going to have her wrestle. Maybe like 1 or 2 matches and that's it. So far, Nikki Bella only wrestled like singles competition. She only, so far, how I remember it, she only wrestled like 2 matches. Based off of what I remember. And that was with Asuka and Becky. So it's kind of like, this is just a waste. Like I said, it ruins the legacy between those two because they were in an era where they were actually wrestling and now they're wrestling like jobbers. It's ridiculous. But again, I don't want Paige to think that I'm dissing. I'm not. I just want her to be aware that if you sign that contract, it's not going to be what it thinks. It's not going to be what it seems. That's what I meant to say. It's going to be something different where I do believe that if she do come back, it would just be a moment just for a shock value. And it will mostly just be a one-time deal of shock value. And then after that, they ain't got nothing for you to do unless they're going to have you team up with Rhea or have you, beef with Rhea. And honestly, I mean, the fans will be happy to see that, but would it be executed right? I don't think so, because it'd all be for nothing. So, if there's no title on the line, then there's no point. But honestly, Paige really don't need a title. She can just come back and just wrestle. You know what I'm saying? She don't really need a title. But again, you got the Intercontinental Championship. So do we really need to see AJ Lee versus Paige again? I would rather see Paige versus Rhea or Paige versus Roxanne Perez, you know. Now, some people want to see Paige versus Liv Morgan, but I'm like, man, the way Liv Morgan be talking, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But again, you know, I'm not going to go back and forth on that. But I just hope that when Paige do come back, she will negotiate with her contract and demand some things that she wants. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I want to wrestle more. I want to, you know, build up new talent. I want to get them over. You know what I'm saying? And if Hunter refused to do that, then obviously this was all a big scam, you know? And that's why they call him triple fraud, because he's a scammer, okay? So I will be very careful signing that contract, because you sign that contract, you might not get what you want, you know? So, again, Nikki's already figuring that out. She just haven't called it out because she's still getting paid. But the moment that money dry up, she ain't going to be, you know, she's going to be talking like Braun Strowman, unfortunately. So, man, hopefully when Paige come back, it will all work out for her. I hope that she can rest. I hope she get what she wants, but all you're going to get is money. And listen, and the way I see it, all you're going to get is money. That's it. You're not going to get anything else, but everybody got to learn the hard way. So y'all get in the comment box and let me know what y'all think about the interview. It was only a 10-minute thing where she explained her AEW. You think, but let me ask y'all this. Do you think that Tony was responsible for the less booking? Or do you think that was Saraya, and that was the reason why, you know, things didn't, you know, and her neck is the reason why she had less bookings? Because she was afraid of getting hurt again. I don't know. Y'all comment down below. Let me know. And also, do you think she should come back to WWE knowing that the booking is trash? Or do you think that, you know, she should just retire and, you know, just, you know, stick to broadcasting and doing her Patreon and continue to put out books? Y'all comment down below. Let me know, all right? And share your thoughts down below. So get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. And I'll catch y'all in the next video, all right? Damn. 19 matches, bro. Are you serious? I mean, I know the past is the past, but god dang. But I've seen her on television more than anything. And 19 matches is all she get from that 2-year run? Come on, man. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Let's get serious, man. On both ends. Come on. Come on. Y'all got to do better, man. As bookkeepers, y'all got to do better. AEW, WWE, TNA, y'all got to do better. Facts. On God. I'm out.